Hey, what is going on, everybody? My name is Payne, and welcome back to another anime review video. And as expected, this is the second video that I'll be making of 3 regarding the rebuild of Evangelion movie series that was created by Hideaki Anno and Studio Khara. This one being called Evangelion 2.0, You Cannot Advance. And for this movie, well, for lack of a better term, this movie broke me. It even makes me go so far to say that the final half hour of this movie is actually worse than the final half hour of the end of Eva, and that's saying a lot. So instead of starting the review halfway through the video, just like what I did with 1.0, I'm just gonna go straight into it. This is the one, the only, Evangelion 2.0 or Evangelion 2.22, You Cannot Advance. Just like in the last movie, Eva 2.0 was co-directed by Hideaki Anno and Kazuya Tsurumaki, again the same 2 guys who directed End of Eva, and was made by Studio Khara in partnership with Studio Gainax. It was released in theaters on June 27th, 2009, and it was 108 minutes long, or 1 hour and 48 minutes long. When the movie series was announced in October of 2006, 2.0 was originally going to be released in January of 2008 and was originally going to be 90 minutes long. But it was later delayed to December of that year, 2008, and then on the Evangelion official website, where if you look on it now, shows the poster for 3.0 plus 1.0, it was announced that it would be released in early summer 2009, to which it did, specifically in June 27th. As for the writing, it was said during Anno's first interview since the announcement of the movie series that he started writing 2.0 during the post-production for 1.0, and that it's from this movie onwards there's going to be new creatures, new characters, new mechas, a completely new storyline. So with that out of the way, let's get straight into the movie. So instead of Eva 2.0 starting off with Shinji or Rei or Gendo, it starts off with introducing a new character to the Eva fanbase, and that is Mari Makanami Illustrious, as she is seen fighting the 3rd Angel while in her Eva Unit 5, and eventually destroys it by self-destructing her Eva, safely ejecting at the last moment. Then the movie later cuts to our main protagonist, Shinji Ikari, as he is looking over his mother's grave alongside his father, Gendo Ikari, indicating that we're at that point in the TV series where it is revealed that Shinji's mother died while working with Gendo at NERV, and while they're both at the gravesite, the 7th Angel arrives, only to be taken down by Evangelion Unit 2, who entered by emergency airdrop, headed by everybody's favorite tsundere, Asuka Langley Wait. Oh, right, I completely forgot. It's a different name this time. Instead of the normal Asuka Langley Soryu, the name has now changed to Asuka Langley Shikinami, but ridiculous name changes aside, she arrives alongside a chief inspector named Ryoji Kaji at Tokyo 3. After Gendo leaves his wife's, Yui's, gravesite, he goes straight to a base that NERV had placed on the moon to find out the progress of an Eva that is said to be fundamentally different than any of the other Evas that have ever been made, known as Evangelion Mark 6. Meanwhile, back in Japan, the 8th Angel, known as Sahakuyo, arrives, making Eva Unit 0 lose the use of its arms and critically damaging Unit 1. And while Asuka, Shinji, and Rei Ayanami were able to defeat it, it's discovered that, surprise, surprise, they don't get well with each other. After the battle, in an attempt to heal the relationship between Gendo and Shinji, Rei prepares a dinner party. Something that we've never really saw from Rei before. She mostly was just that one person that sits in the corner, doesn't really say anything. While at the same time that Rei is planning for this dinner party, Mari arrives at Tokyo 3. Soon after, Evangelion Unit 4 and NERV's United States branch are destroyed during a test of an experimental engine, driving the US government to send the completed Evangelion Unit 3 while they repair NERV's US branch. But in accordance with an international agreement known as the Vatican Treaty, where Japan and all the other nations that have a NERV base are forbidden to possess more than 3 functioning Evas at a time, Unit 2 had to be sealed away. Initially, Rei is chosen to be the pilot of Eva Unit 3, but Asuka decides that she wanted to do it for her so that she could still host her dinner party. But, just like in the TV series, the activation of Eva Unit 3, however, goes awry and is revealed to be possessed by the 9th Angel Bardiel. As NERV's only functional Evangelion and pilot, Shinji is ordered to destroy it, but refuses to fight back for the fear of killing Asuka, who is trapped inside. Instead of what it was in the TV series, where instead of Asuka, who was in EVA Unit 3, it was fellow classmate Toji Suzahara, who got critically injured, I think straight up paralyzed, if I remember correctly, after EVA Unit 1 contained it. But this was different. This is where things really get messed up here. Because of Shinji's resisting attitude toward this entire situation, Gendo orders the activation of EVA Unit 1's dummy plug system, and the now autonomous Evangelion savagely dispatches and destroys the Angel/EVA Unit 3, crushing Asuka's entry plug in the process. What makes this hard to watch for me was that while EVA Unit 1 is straight up destroying this thing, and while Shinji is pleading to Gendo that this is all morally wrong, there was a song that was played in the background that was sung by children, and the song is about trust and why it's good. That's fucked up. Assuming that Asuka is now dead, just like everyone else who watched the movie, including me, Shinji is disgusted with his father's actions, and after an unsuccessful assault against NERV headquarters afterwards, he decides to quit NERV. Asuka is later revealed to be alive, but very badly wounded, and is in quarantine for fear of mental contamination from the Ninth Angel. After Shinji says his goodbyes and boards a train heading out of the city, the 10th Angel, known as Zerul, attacks Tokyo 3, forcing Shinji to move to an emergency shelter. As Unit 1 refuses to accept the dummy system, Mari hijacks EVA Unit 2, making her, in my book, the most hated character in the entire franchise. And believe me, I'm not the only one who thinks that. But she unfortunately fails to defeat the Angel even after initiating a controlled berserker mode by removing Unit 2's limiters. Rei arrives alongside Mari, piloting Unit 0 despite its arms being barely functional, and manages to penetrate the Angel's AT field with the help of EVA Unit 2 and launches an all-out attack to which the Angel emerges unscathed and consumes Unit 0 with Rei still inside. Shortly after, Mari happens upon Shinji in the damaged Unit 2 and tries to take him to safety, but upon witnessing the destruction and Unit 0's consumption, he decides to return and pilot Unit 1 once more. Alright, so this is where things get really complicated, so please stay on the same page with me here. This was a little confusing writing down, but I think I got the best out of this. So Shinji fends off the Angel at first, but before he can defeat it, Unit 1 runs out of power and shuts down, but it reactivates again in Berserk mode in response to Shinji's rage for the loss of Rei. It easily takes down the Angel, and Shinji uses the EVA to reach inside the Angel's core to save Rei. Unit 1 then starts transcending its physical boundaries to grant Shinji's wish to save her. At the moment Shinji retrieves Rei, Unit 1 pulls Unit 0's core out of the Angel, making the Angel explode, and its remains, along with Unit 0's core, are absorbed into Unit 1, fusing them all into one being. Unit 1 then sprouts giant wings, apparently out of nowhere, and Masato Katsuragi, the NERV captain who's been watching the battle the whole time, sees that they are identical to the ones that she saw during the second impact 15 years earlier, and a head scientist for NERV, Ritsuko Akagi, realizes that the EVA has become a divine being, triggering the third impact, and declares it to be the end of the world. The movie ends after the credits, where a spear shoots down from the moon and impales Unit 1 in the middle of its apotheosis, neutralizing it and stopping the third impact. It's later revealed to be Kaworu, who's the one who threw the spear as he descends from the moon in Evangelion Mark 6, revealing that it was him who threw it, and saying that this time he will show Shinji true happiness. The animation and the art are just one of the absolute standout elements of 2.0. Just like in the first film, the Angels have been given a complete makeover, along with the EVA units, the futuristic, ever-wondrous city known as Tokyo 3, and even the characters in some cases. And between them, the animation staff from the rebuild tetralogy have worked on a huge number of highly acclaimed works, which includes the original TV series. The team created an alarmingly beautiful world among all the chaos and destruction, with such intricate attention to detail, stunningly complex designs, and action set pieces unlike anything before it. The art style in this movie is bold, clean, and dazzling, and the animation is dynamic, majestic, smooth, and ever fluid. Studio Khara have set a frighteningly faultless example to other animation studios, In other words, they've surely outdone themselves. As for the music, it was composed and arranged by a guy named Shiro Sagasu, who scored not only the first Rebuild film, but the original TV series and the end of Eva and Evangelion Death and Rebirth. And fun fact, he recorded it at the famous Abbey Road Studios with the London Symphony Orchestra. One way to really say this is that music has always been a very innate part of Evangelion, as integral as the Eva units themselves, and it's no different in Rebuild. Sagasu creates a fine amount of stunning compositions that further bring to life Tokyo 3, the characters, and the phenomenal action sequences, which got better over time. Rebuild 2.0 even has its own Kamsuser Todd moment, where an upbeat song is playing in contrast to a brutal sequence, with the lyrics adding a welcome sense of irony, which is what we've come to expect and delight over from the Evangelion franchise, no matter how disturbing or how scarring it is. In addition to its animation, Eva 2.0 also excels in its characterization. The charismatic Asuka is introduced in 2.0, who adds a whole new different vibe to the film, and there is yet more original material for fans of the series, as established characters such as Shinji and Rei develop significantly, the latter in directions that you may not expect. And a completely new character, in this case Mari, also joins the group. Much of her motivation in 2.0 is shrouded in mystery, which allows the film to stay at a consistent pace and prevents it from being bloated, considering the amount of characters and plot developments already at hand, but her presence adds yet another exciting new element, along with some comic relief. And despite a cast of characters that were established almost 14 years prior to 2.0, they come across in Rebuild as very fresh, very unpredictable. These aren't the same characters from the Evangelion series. They are new interpretations, new versions. With a clean slate comes new directions and new experiences. In areas, the film becomes as fresh to longtime fans as it is to new audiences. All in all, Evangelion 2.0 is an absolute spectacle, as astonishing to the eyes as it is to the ears. The second film is able to outdo the first installment in every aspect, all the while taking the story in thrilling new directions for fans both old and new. A remake would have been too easy for Anno and Studio Khara. Instead, they have gone above and beyond, recreating the Evangelion universe we've come to know and love, offering us new interpretations 14 years later to this point, proving with some ferocity that Evangelion is far from gone. Rebuild solidifies Evangelion as an absolutely exceptional franchise, continuing to awe-inspire fans the world over, reminding us all why we fell in love with the series in the first place. And with that, I'm going to give Eva 2.0 You Cannot Advance a perfect 10 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching my Eva 2.0 review video. If you like this video, hit the like button down below. If you want to see more anime review videos in the future, you can hit the subscribe button either on the screen or down below as well. And if you want to see more anime review videos that I've made in the past, you have 3 options. There are videos on the screen, there are videos in the description, and if you go to my channel, you're basically going to see all the videos. But with that out of the way, once again, my name is Payne, and I'll see you in Eva 3.0.